Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite NBA player prop picks today. We are talking Monday, March 24th. The Splash Zone is back in your life. I'm going to have 5 NBA player prop picks for you guys to lock in for tonight's NBA betting slate. 3 of those 5 are plus money bangers because, of course, that is how we do things here. Now, I'm trying out a little bit of a different strategy today, so we'll see how that goes. We will get into that in a little bit, but before we do have to do a recap from yesterday, which was a pretty frustrating day. We only got one of our 4 plays to cash. The KP first quarter play, he didn't play, so we got that one refunded. But we lost, again, 3 out of the other 4. Down 2.1 units yesterday. Toby, first quarter, that cashed, good to go there. Peyton Watson, over 9.5 points. He scored 9 points, and he missed a free throw. In the second half, he would have hit the 10th, but he didn't. Amen Thompson, over 12.5 rebounds plus assists. That one wasn't even close. I really can't complain anything about that one. Alperen Şengün had the game that I thought Amen Thompson was going to have. So that one was basically dead in the first quarter. James Harden over 5.5 rebounds. Now, I admittedly didn't stay up for this, but from what I gathered, he had 4 rebounds in the first half. He got the 6th rebound at the end of the game, and then they stack corrected it, brought him back down to 5. So that one, if we had cashed that one, we would have had a slightly profitable day, but we didn't. Pretty brutal beat. Honestly, I'm glad I didn't stay up for it because that would have been tough. But down 2.1 units yesterday. Now brings our profit on the year up to, I guess I should take the mouse out of the way. We are up 24.28 units. We are up a little bit above 4% ROI. It's just been a slog of an NBA season. Every time I think we're getting on a roll, we have a week like we've had. It's honestly been the last 2 weeks or so. Really haven't been that good. You look at the entire month of March, we're down a little bit over 2 units. So we're basically breaking even heading into yesterday. The first half of March was really good. Now the second half of March has not been good. And that's how you get to kind of where we are now. So hopefully, I know I've said this basically every video, but I'm really hoping we can go on a run here. For those of you that have been with me for the entirety of the NBA season, I appreciate you. It's definitely not been the most fun season. When you take a step back, being up over 20 units isn't terrible. It's just when you're doing it every day and you have kind of the weeks like we've had recently, it just can be a little bit frustrating. So again, everybody that's been rocking with me, I do appreciate it. We are on to Dong season, so that'll be fun. If you're on the YouTube channel and you're not already familiar, home runs is where we do our damage. So hopefully that ends up going well. But enough of that. Let's get into today's bangers. I have up on my screen here Props Madness, my favorite NBA betting tool. If you want to check them out, I'm going to walk through how I use them. But if you want to check them out, I put a link to them in the description of the video, as well as the pinned comment. So go ahead and check them out. So the strategy that I am doing today, the most success that I've had this year, especially recently, has been this first quarter market. We're up over 12% ROI on the first quarter this year. Last year, as you can tell, we were up 32% ROI in the first quarter market. The only markets that we've had volume and as much success is really the double-double, which has worked out well for us. And then rebounds have been pretty good as well. So my strategy today, let's dive into the first quarter market. Let's really look at who the first quarter kings are, and let's see if we can have success doing that. Now, obviously, a one-day sample isn't going to decide whether this is a good strategy or not, but it's kind of fun. We get the bet out of the way early in the first quarter. I can make a fun name out of it, talk about like who's finishing first, because we're just looking at who's going to finish the fastest in the first quarter. So we'll see how it goes. The first one of our who's finishing first betting strategy of the Splash Zone is Luka Doncic, over 8.5 first quarter points. Now, Luka, I'd love to get him at 7.5 for like minus 120 or better. If you can use ESPN Bet without any limits, then that minus 125 number isn't terrible. I might honestly suggest that over the 8.5 at plus 106, but I can't really bet at ESPN Bet, and I could only really take this one at FanDuel, so that's what I ended up giving out. That's what I ended up doing. So look up first quarter. We have to look at him and how he's been with the Lakers. So this is every game he's played with the Lakers. It's 11 of 17. That's good. Averaging over 10 points in the first quarter. That's good. But what's even better, take these first 3 games out, because he barely played in these first 3 games because it was his first game back from a pretty serious calf injury. So they slow rolled him. Since those 3 games, it's actually over and 11 of 14. That's really good. Averaging over 12 points per game in the first quarter. That's really good. And even if we look at the games specifically with LeBron, I think he's listed as probable, so he's going to play. So we look at the games with LeBron, with Austin Reeves. It's the guys that we know are going to play. Again, we're taking out the same first 3 games. It's over in 5 of 7, 70% hit rate, averaging 10 points in the first quarter. So I'm really not scared off of the fact that the Lakers are going to have their guys healthy, because it hasn't really mattered for Luka. He's been starting fast in the first quarter and has been amazing. Now, normally I like to do what I call fade recent results. And if you look at Luka's last 5 first quarters, 16, 13, 12, 21, 17. Yeah, we're not fading recent results here. If you look at his main point prop, now he's gone over 28.5 in 2 straight, but one game he scored 21 points, and his point prop's been in like the mid 30s recently, so it has dropped a little bit, probably with Braun back. But it's not like he's completely skied over his point prop recently when it was as high as it was. But regardless, fast starter for Luka Doncic, and the matchup is phenomenal. The Magic are a good defense. Like if you hover over the matchup here, you see a lot of red. That's kind of what I like about Props Madness. You just hover over the team that they're playing, and it'll kind of show you all the information about the matchup. It on paper looks like a tough matchup, but it's really not when you dig into it. Number one, the play type that leads to the most points for Luka Doncic is the pick and roll ball handler, but the majority of where those points come from, if we want to go even further than that, is via the pull-up. So we're going to go to NBA.com, we're going to go to opponent shooting, we're going to go to pull-ups, and we're going to see, and we're looking at pull-ups here, that the Magic allow the highest frequency of shots against them be via the pull-up. That's what we're looking at here. 27% of shots against the Magic are pull-up shots. That's number one. If you look at 3-point specifically, they're tied with the 4th most pull-up shots or frequency of shots against them via the pull-up. So the way the Magic play defense, they're very stingy, but they'll give it up to guys pulling up. And even though they give up the fewest points per game via the above the break 3-pointer, that's because they don't give up anything in the catch and shoot. Like you look at spot up, which is the same thing as catch and shoot almost. They're number 1 in both, but they're not for pick and roll ball handlers. And then we go down the list. Free throws. Luka gets to the line a lot. They foul at the 5th highest rate in the NBA. Luka also loves to ISO. They allow the 7th or the 6th most ISO points in the entire NBA. So it's actually a good matchup for Luka, as evidenced by this graph right here. Similar player points versus Magic. This is looking at guys with a similar scoring profile and how they perform against the Magic. 10 of 15 have hit the over. And you look at the names, it's all the top pull-up guards in the NBA. Anthony Edwards, Damian Lillard, Trae Young, Tyrese Maxey, Cam Thomas, when he actually plays basketball, decent pull-up guard. 10 of 15 to the over is really good. And Luka, he played them earlier this year, put up 32 points against them and put up 14 points in the first quarter. So I really like this one for Luka. Our official bet here is this one on FanDuel at plus 106. But if you want to take the minus 125 at ESPN Bet, I wouldn't blame you at all. That's play number 1. Play number 2. I'm going to have a lean here in this Mavericks Nets. It's not a first quarter prop, but it's one that I do really like. If you give me, after I give you my official plays, I'll talk about that one. But in this Bulls Nuggets game, I do have an official play, and it's going to be Vooch over his first quarter point prop, plus 110 odds. Actually, it's plus 115. So I got this at plus 110. It now actually moved to plus 115, so you can get a little bit of a better price than what I got. But if it ends up bumping back down, I would take it at plus 115. I'll take it at plus 108 as well. So we're really not taking any, you guys aren't getting any worse odds waiting for the YouTube video if you're not in the Tails account where I send all these plays out. So Vooch, this one admittedly is, of the 5 that I have, this one's probably the scariest. You look at his last 23 games, 13 of 23 to the over is pretty good. But you look at recently his last, because he's missed some time here, right? Like we see he played February 22nd. He got hurt in this game, didn't play again until March 10th. You look at his last 7 games, it's only over in 3 of the 7. But you really got to take out his first game back, because he only played 6 minutes in the first quarter. That's the fewest he's played. And I mean, that's the fewest that he plays. Normally he plays between 8 and 10 minutes in the first quarter. And if you look at take that game out, it's still averaging 8.5 minutes in the first quarter, which is a little bit below his average. But over in 3 of 6 is a little bit less scary. But again, you look at his last 23 games, it's over in 13 of 23. And he's going to play, let's call it between 7 and 10 minutes in the first quarter. So we take out all the outliers, both positive and negative. It's over in 13 of his last 23 and 11 of his last 19. So all that stuff isn't terrible. Average is about 5 points in the first quarter. So even though it is down from his average, we're paying for that because this normally isn't plus 115 odds, and it's still above what we need him to take for this prop, right? We need him to hit 5 points. He's averaging just below 5. And the matchup against the Nuggets is a very, very good one. Whether Jokic plays or not, it's a good matchup. We look at play types, pick and roll man, 8th most points per game in the NBA. Now they don't allow a lot via post ups because like if someone posts up, they put a lot of ball pressure. They double a lot via post ups, which is why you see them as a good matchup for center assist props. If we look at here, only 2 of 4, but by position it's 12 of 15, which is much better. So if you want to take Vooch assists, I mean 2.5, I'm not touching these disgusting odds, but if you wanted to like put a quarter, half unit on 5. But anyways, it's a good matchup from a scoring perspective. Transition, they're below average, 18th, 13th most, and then spot up, they allow a lot of spot up points, the second most in the NBA. Guys, similar to Vooch, 9 of 12 have hit the over against the Nuggets, and it's 3 of 4 since the All-Star break, which is what I also really like to look at. It's not just the entire season, because stuff that happened in November might not be relevant, but stuff that happened since the All-Star break, excuse me, that is relevant. In 3 of 4 to the over. We look at by position, it's 9 of the last 15, just centers in general have hit their point prop over against the Nuggets, so they've generally been a good matchup. Last time these two teams played, scored 11 points in the first quarter, put up 12 shots. Now, Jokic played in that game. Jokic is out for, or most likely out for tonight. I don't think he's going to play. But even if it's DeAndre Jordan, like I'm not scared of that matchup either. I honestly would like it a little bit better if DeAndre Jordan ended up being the guy, not Jokic, because Jordan's definitely not going out to the perimeter and guarding Vooch. So over 5.5 first quarter point, or excuse me, 4.5 fourth quarter points. I do really like for Vooch. That's our second play. Bucks versus Suns. I'm going to have 2 in this one. The first one is Kevin Durant. So I'm taking him over 7.5 first quarter points, minus 102 odds at FanDuel. This is the exact bet that I locked in. You're not paying any additional price here. Again, waiting for the YouTube video. Minus 102 is the official bet here. So this one for KD. He's mostly going to play 12 minutes in the first quarter, right? Like we take out this random little blip here. We look at games in which he's played 12 minutes in the first quarter. It's over in 15 of his last 24, and then it's over in 14 of his last 20. 70% hit rate in his last 20 games. Now, there was a stretch where he was awesome. Since then, it hasn't quite been as good. We take those games out. Still 7 of 13, which is pretty good, or 5 of 10, which isn't quite as good. But then we go even deeper than that. It's 5 of 7. So it's like, it's the ebbs and flows of a regular season. He had an awesome stretch where he hit it in like 10 straight. And then he had a little bit of a rougher stretch, and now he's hit it in 5 of his last 7 games. If you want to look at just his point prop in general, it is a little bit scary considering he just put up 42 points against the Cavs. He took 29 shots, 9 3-pointers. My betting ethos is that there's going to be a negative regression after some sort of blow-up game like this. But it's also Kevin Durant, and maybe he's just in the middle, in a little bit of a heater, and that continues in the first quarter. I would say part of the reason why I haven't had as much success this year as I did last year is the fade recent results thing just hasn't quite worked the same this year. So that's part of the reason. And I played a higher volume with less success. So that's also part of it. But Kevin Durant, you look at games where he's played all 12 minutes. Again, also there's no Brad Beal, which doesn't really impact KD that much. 7 of his last 11 playing all 12 minutes, specifically without Bradley Beal. Now, he didn't used to play all 12 minutes. We look at like the entire season for Kevin Durant. We look at the beginning. We see his minutes here where this is looking at, actually I want to look at the entire season for KD. So he's played 58 games. We see at the beginning of the year, he wasn't really playing all 12 minutes. So we look at it like since then, he's mostly been playing the entire first quarter in his last 42 games. And we see that his hit rate went a lot better in those games. And then there's that random blip here where he wasn't. But without Bradley Beal, he's still playing all 12 minutes in the first quarter. And in terms of the matchup was really good for Kevin Durant against this Bucks team. This Bucks team kind of funnels shots to the mid-range. And Kevin Durant, he's an amazing shooter. He loves shooting in the mid-range. Like a quarter of his shots come from the mid-range. Another quarter of his shots come from the above the break 3. And then obviously he can get to the rim as well. We hover over the matchup. Again, it doesn't look that great on paper. We see that, the Bucks allow the fewest points per game to his position, which is the forward position. They allow a lot of points to guards, and guards are normally the pull-up guys as opposed to the forwards. But we look at players similar to Kevin Durant, which is the most important thing here. It's 10 of 15 to the over. And again, since the All-Star break, it's 3 of 4 to the over. The only one that missed was Franz Wagner. So even though the play type analysis looks scarier than it is, it's not that scary of a matchup. Like we hover over the matchup here or excuse me, we go over to NBA.com. And I just kind of want to show you what I'm talking about. Like we're looking at overall opponent shooting. We're looking at by zone. We're looking at the mid-range. So on the season, the Cavs allow the most mid-range shots in the NBA. The Bucks are third, so that's still pretty good. In terms of made, the Bucks are slightly lower, around like sixth. We look at the last 10 games specifically, and we see that the Bucks are actually number one in terms of pull-up shots given up, both attempted and made. So we recently, teams have been shooting even more in the pull-up against the Bucks. And then we go to the shot dashboard. We're looking at shooting. We want to go by zone. We want to look at mid-range. Kevin Durant takes the fifth most mid-range shots in the NBA on the entire season. He makes the fifth most as well, actually tied with Jamal Murray for the fourth most. And we look at it over the last, or that is over the last 10 games. Excuse me, that is over the last 10 games. He's shooting a lot in the mid-range. So it's a good matchup for Kevin Durant against this Bucks team. So over 7.5 first quarter points, that is our third bet. And in this same game, I have another play that I really like. And we're going on the other side of the ball. It's Brook Lopez, Brolo, and his first quarter point prop. So I actually took it over 3.5 at minus 105. This is the exact bet that I took. It's minus 105 at both ESPN Bet and Hard Rock, and then minus 110 at Bet 365. So you're able to get this bet. And even minus 120, I would take it there. So the biggest thing here for Brook is no Damian Lillard. Dame's out. He's played 11 games this year without Dame. He's hit the over 3.5, first quarter point prop in 8 of those 11 games. Only one time did he land on exactly 4, and that also happened to be his last game. So if you think that you'd rather take the 4.5, 4+ money, I wouldn't blame you. I mean, that 3.5 to 4 is a really key number, because if he makes 2 shots but he doesn't make a 3, like that's a massive deal. So I would rather take the over 3.5, especially because we're getting close to even odds. Like I don't think it's a big enough difference to go over that key number, in my opinion. And you look at games without Dame, but with Giannis, because, you know, Giannis did miss some of those games. Giannis is going to play tonight. It's over in 5 of 7. You want to look at games specifically with Kyle Kuzma. It's over in 3 of 3, because obviously there's been a little bit of a different iteration of this Bucks team. But no matter how you look at it, it's good. You want to look at it without Dame. With Kuzma, it's over in 4 of 4. And then without Dame, again, it's 8 of 11. Now, the matchup on paper doesn't look amazing. I mean, 5 of 8, similar to Brook, have hit their point prop over. It's only 1 of 4 since the All-Star break, so it is a little bit different than what I mentioned. Now, Brook, if Dame was playing, I wouldn't be on this play, so you have to kind of take that with a grain of salt. The biggest advantage for Brook Lopez in this matchup is the catch and shoot, because the Suns generally are not a catch and shoot defense, but they've been a lot worse recently. It's like we look at catch and shoot, we look at the last 10 games, and we see that the Suns have given up the the 5th highest frequency of shots against them are pull-up 3-pointers, and the 4th most just pull-up shots in general. Or sorry, not pull-up, sorry, catch and shoot. I keep saying pull-up. Catch and shoot. So they allow the 4th most catch and shoot shots against them, and the 5th most catch and shoot 3-point shots against them. You want to know who quietly leads the Bucks in catch and shoot shooting, catch and shoot scoring? We're looking at catch and shoot. No, we want to look at the entire season, actually, because it's a little bit wonky looking at the last 10 games with Dame in and out of lineup. So I actually am looking at the entire season. With this one, we're looking at the Milwaukee Bucks. Guess who is scoring the most points per game via catch and shoot? Brook Lopez, Gary Trent Jr. is actually tied with him. So we'll go tied for first. But guess who's taking the most shots? Brook Lopez, most 3-pointers, catch and shoot, Brook Lopez. So it is a really good matchup for Brook in this game against the Suns, even though it doesn't quite look like it on paper. Another bet that I like for Brook is over 1.5 made threes. This at minus 105, minus 104, minus 105, I think is a little bit crazy. So I know I'm kind of sticking to the first quarter market here, but I do think that his 3-point prop is awesome in this one as well. I don't honestly take this for a half unit, ladder it up to 3 as well. Last game he took 6, he made 3 of them. And I think he's taken, like we want at least 5, right? We want at least 5 3-pointers if we're asking him to make 2. And without Dame, he's played 11 shots. Let's just limit it to 5. How many times has he taken fewer than 5 3-pointers? 4 of them. So it's 7 of 11. He's taken 5 or more 3-pointers, and we're just asking him to make 2. We want that 5 number. But even if we go down to 4, it's still over in 7 of 8. So even if he takes 4, shooting 50%, it's not quite what we're banking on, but he has been doing it without Dame. And even games with Giannis without Dame, 5 of 7 to the over in terms of his 3-point prop. So honestly, first quarter, 3-point, I think both of them look good for Brook Lopez. Again, I'm sticking to the first quarter market tonight, which is why that's our official bet. which is his first quarter points over 3.5 minus 105. And then for our fifth and final pick of the video, you guys probably already knew it was coming, but it's Kristaps Porzingis, first quarter king. So we actually have to take this one at 6.5. The over 5.5 at minus 135, I don't quite think is worth it. Again, I would take that at probably minus 125 or worse, but I don't like it at minus 135. So plus 114 for the over 6.5 is where my official bet is. And that still looks good for KP, even though we're missing that key number of 6, which is what he's landed on 3 times. He's still gone over 6.5 in 15 of 23 games. He's done it in 2 straight as well. He's done it in 4 of his last 6. The matchup is pretty good against the, who's he playing? Against the Kings, that's right, against the Sacramento Kings. 3 of the top 4 play types, the Kings are bottom 10. And the other one, they're completely average. They're 15th in terms of post-ups. But it's a lot of green for Kristaps Porzingis. You hover over the matchup here, it's a lot of green as well. The Kings don't allow a lot of points in the restricted area. We see the 3rd fewest. But they allow a lot of these shots right outside, which I like to call the push shot area. It's the non-restricted area of the paint. The Kings basically wall off the paint. And then from there, they allow everything kind of right outside that, which is why they give up the 3rd most here. But they allow a ton of catch and shoot above the break 3-pointers, and these are mostly catch and shoot, which is perfect for KP. In terms of, we don't know who's going to play for the Celtics because they played yesterday. They sat a bunch of guys, including Kristaps Porzingis, which is why I actually think he's playing tonight. We know Jaylen Brown is out, so we know at least that. I'm guessing Tatum might sit as well. Tatum played last night, so I'm guessing he's probably going to sit tonight. So that's part of the reason why this is bumped, is I'm guessing the books are expecting guys to be missing. But the last time KP played the Kings, everybody was healthy. Nobody missed. He scored 8 points in that first quarter, so he easily went over with all their guys healthy. So obviously, KP's been a first quarter king for us all year. Let's hope that continues tonight. 5 of these, if we get 3, we're making money. Let's hope we get more than that. I mean, wouldn't it be great if we just had a great first day doing the first quarter point props, getting all these guys to finish early. In terms of leans, because there are some non-first quarter looks that I just want to give a shout out real quick. Anthony Edwards on the points is a good matchup. I mean, he's crushed the Pacers, just put up 38 against them. Last year, he went over in both with 37 and 44 points against them. He also liked the fact that they're coming off of he's coming off, of a game where he didn't do anything, 17 points, 26 minutes. They won that game by 41. The Pacers don't send double teams, so guys like Anthony Edwards can just cook against them, which is why you've seen him cook against them. 7 of 13, similar to him, have hit their point prop over. And you look at the guys, it's mostly number 1 options or pull-up guards. Like Dame isn't the number 1 option on the Bucks, but he's the one that's doing the most from the perimeter. And he's not a first quarter guy, which is why I'm not taking him in the first quarter. Like the numbers are high because they're basing it off of his full game. But Ant's like kind of a second half guy, which he wasn't really last year. So maybe he's kind of learning to do that a little bit better. So Ant on the points, I would take 30 plus if I'm betting it. I think that's a solid look. This Mavericks Nets game, I really like, and shout out to, you know who you are in the Discord, the Hawk, for this look. It's Kai Jones, 10 plus points or his PRA. Books don't really have anything, like it's only Flip if you want to bet his PRA. And his points, it's only bet 365 in Flip, unless you use either Prize Picks or any of these offshore books. But his last 3 games, which is all we have to go off of, because you can't look at the entire season, he's played 34, 24, and 25 minutes. So basically, everybody's hurt on the Mavericks. So he's playing. Now this game, this 34-minute game was without PJ Washington, who's back in the lineup. So he's probably going to play closer to 24, 25 minutes. That's still really good. And I like the fact that he missed 2 weeks, still walked into 24 points. He's a center. He's mostly going to do all his damage in the paint or in the restricted area. It's a decent matchup against the Brooklyn Nets. So if I'm playing it, I would go 10 plus for plus 130, or you can wait to get points plus rebounds because his rebound prop at 6.5, relatively juiced to the over, but he's hit that in all 3 games. And his rebound chances are pretty good as well. 21, 13, and 15. Like that's pretty good. So you can either take the 10 plus now, or you can wait to get the PR. The 10 plus at plus 130 is juicy, but the rebounds are good as well. And then another one that I liked is Giddey on the assists. I mean, he's been phenomenal recently. His last game, he had 17 assists, but he had 24 potential assists. And why that game is important was because Ayo Dosunmu is still out, and then Trey Jones is out, and Lonzo Ball is out as well. So all those 3 guys are out. He does all of the playmaking. Now, it was 9.5, or excuse me, it was 8.5. excuse me, it was 9.5 for roughly even money. Now it's down to 8.5. So it looks like the odds have been skyrocketing the other way. 10 plus for plus 130, 45, I think is an awesome price for Giddey. It's a good matchup against the Nuggets. Like we see only 3 of 6, but by position, it's a little bit better, 8 of 15. And the Nuggets have been an assist team all year. Like we hover over the matchup, it's a lot of green. Most assists in the NBA, fifth most in the restricted area, 7th most to his position specifically, which is being tracked as like a guard forward. So Giddey on the assists, I think, is a good look. And that's pretty much all we got. So it's the 5 official bangers that I will recap for you guys right now. It's Brook Lopez over 3.5 first quarter points, Kevin Durant over 7.5 first quarter points, Luka over 8.5. These are all first quarter. Vooch over 4.5, and Kristaps Porzingis over 6.5. We're risking 5.07 units to profit 5.30 units. So hopefully we get all that profit. That would be amazing. Again, I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the links in the description of the video, which link to Props Madness. I also have a link to my Tails account, which I mentioned earlier. This is where I send all my plays out. So everything that I'm on, the first thing that I do is send it out to Tails. So you're able to get everything before the odds change. Now, the first quarter market, this is how it comes over. So I kind of give you like just a brief headliner of what we're playing. I give you the play and then a screenshot of the bet itself, so you know that these are actually real odds. The first quarter market doesn't pull, but one thing that I like about, where is it? I guess I can't pull it up here. I like about Tails is that you can also send it through their tools, through their odds shopping tools. So you're able to kind of it takes you directly to the bet. I don't have an example of that right now because the first quarter market isn't pulled yet. But either way, check out Tails, check out Props Madness. I appreciate everybody for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Make sure to bet responsibly and have a good one.